you go.
So, so what I'm really trying to do here is, or what we're trying to do is, we wanted to come to Chicago and really talk to people who've had the experience of growing in faith through the church itself. It's a special moment to be able to sit with others who've have different, like different perspectives, and at the same time, being able to share those perspectives while understanding we're all belonging in this Mullingar church, right? So I think it's important to kind of highlight your perspectives and at the same time share that with others so people can kind of understand, maybe some of the things that we're going through right now isn't that far different from what's happened before. So I think it's important to kind of share these stories, and we're probably going to try and approach this through almost a chronological order. So we'll kind of start off. Lejo Chachin, you kind of talked about like when you were younger, right? You weren't from this area, like exactly born here, right? But you would call yourself a native, right? Like, a Chicagoan, as I assume that's the word for it. So just to start off with everyone, wanted to ask everyone here, how was it really growing in the church, right, at the young ages, as y'all were forming in your, in your faith and in your identity itself as, a Mullingar Catholic or as a Catholic? How was it? Was it a welcoming environment? How did you feel as you were growing up in the faith? We'll start off right to left, yeah.
I think I think when we were younger, or when I was younger, the not in a bad sense, but maybe the faith aspect wasn't there. It's just more coming to church and you get to see these friends or that friends, and maybe service Kurbana was something you just got through, so that way we can all go to the Angel Guardian Hall and have donuts and coffee, right, with everyone. So I think at a younger age, that's what it is. That being said, I think none of the spirituality or the faith or the importance of the faith wasn't lost on us. I think everyone's parents, like back then, there was no eparchy, there was no like Sunday school national director. It was just everybody's parents doing the best they can to instill like the faith and what the liturgy and the culture was, right? So it wasn't lost on us, but I think at least for me in the beginning, it wasn't necessarily about, yeah, I'm coming here because I love the liturgy and this rich. I think all those things came later, and I think that's probably, I'm not meaning to overspeak, but maybe for everyone, as we get older, then we start facing challenges like in high school or college, and then those are the kind of things I think that kind of push you towards, what is this all about? What am I doing? Like, who's with me? Who's not with me? So I think that's where like the kind of like the faith dimension or your personal spirituality grows, and then you realize, oh wow, I don't need to go and look for it somewhere else. I was in it all along. I just needed to like kind of look around or open my eyes.
You had the gem was literally in front of your eyes all this time, basically, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, it's one of those things. It's there. You just have to realize that it's there, or open your eyes, or maybe it was too bright for you to see, and then maybe it had to be dimmed a little bit or something like that.
I'll try to not make this a long-winded answer, but as I mentioned earlier, I had just an unusual journey. So at the age of, I grew up Marthama, right? So at age 4, my dad passed away with brain tumor. So then, and then my mom, when she remarried, she married a Syro Malabar gentleman, right? And then it came time for my youngest sister to have her baptism, and it turned out that the priest was not around, the Syro Malabar priest, so we had to find another place to have her birthday celebration and her baptism on the same day. So we heard about this small little, community, Mullingar community. So we just showed up there, had our baptism, and then since that point, we kind of just went back and forth between Syro Malabar and Syro Mullingar. But kind of like how you mentioned, Aaron, is like it was just the community feel was different, right? Because Syro Malabar is a huge parish, especially here in Chicago. So many families, you feel like a small little ant, so when you come to church, but when you're coming to the Sri Lanka community, it's just more welcoming, and you feel like, hey, I can actually probably be part of this. So that's what kind of drew me here early on at the age of 13, right? So I got a chance to understand the liturgy and really understand what it felt like to be part of the Molinker community.
Thank you for that answer.
Yeah, I think for our experience and, Tom's family, our family, there was probably like 5 or 6 families that outside of the church, we were also family friends. And so I think part of that, Jason's family and us, like our dads go way back, even from India. And so I think for us, there was also the familial, just kind of it already felt like a family just because of our friends and the relationships we had developed over the years of growing up together. But then coming to the church community, it was nice to have that, because then you already felt like your brother or your sister was already at this church community with you. And then meeting new families, like when Lijo's family started coming to church, when many of the other families started coming to our church, it just felt like new people were being added to our family. And I think that family feel, and for many of us, family is so critical, so important, that it felt natural. And I think having a smaller church community allows for that love to kind of be shared in a smaller group. And then again, kind of going back to what Jid was saying, like, I think it's really important that our parents really instilled a lot of those values in all of us, to find the value of the Mass and to understand the sacredness of our liturgy, and really uncover a lot of the things that we didn't know as young kids. And so that I think that kind of remained in us and kind of stayed in our hearts as we grew older. I think that's another reason why so many of us continue to be a part of this parish and also want to raise our children in that environment as well. Even though things change over the years, I think our heart is still here, and our heart is with one another, and our heart is in this church. So.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off of Lisa here. So, I mean, I think one thing that we're really struggling now is with the way that the world is now. Everybody's glued to the phone. So when we were growing up, we didn't have phones. And the only way we could really contact each other is if we saw each other. So if we knew that, hey, Lee, Ben, Lidge, Jay, they're going to be at church Sunday, I want to go to church because I want to be hanging out with them. So yeah, I think the group consensus, yeah, maybe it wasn't necessarily spiritual when we were younger, but because we were all together and we were all around the same age, and like, hey, there's this conference, let's all go because we all want to go together and we want to have that experience together. We did it like that, and I feel like because we had that, I think maybe what we're seeing at different parts of the country was we were insulated because we had each other, so we didn't necessarily get as tempted as others would, right? Because we were always looking out for each other. If she wasn't there, we'd be like, hey, Lee, what happened to you? Or you don't have a ride, we'll come get you, right? It was never a question of not, like, the question is, like, it would be more of a concern if somebody was missing. So I felt like that was like, that base kind of helped us all grow in our faith and grow into the church.
Yeah, to kind of piggyback off of that, our sister church here, Sarah Malabar, is much bigger than ours. So when we used to come together as a group and come to places like at Zero or other places together, people can see that and they can feel that sense of unity, that community that we would bring, right? Like, because all of us are around the same age, and just because, just like how Tom said, we like to kind of be around each other, and that's something that's becomes kind of contagious, or that others kind of get that feel from that, So that was pretty. It was visible to others too,
You guys created that welcoming environment, and you guys basically, that friendship that you guys talked about started really developing at this time, right?
Mm-hmm.
You said if someone was missing, you really feel it, right? That's the church feels that, right? It's like the heartbeat, like something changes then, right? That's a very good point, because